is a major key of knowing when you want to go for the Immortal, when you want to play defensively. The calls need to be on point. And so we want to see Team Liquid come to BOE, which is a battleground. In the last couple weeks, they've looked great on. We've been seeing more of that mouthfeel from them and just completely show that they are going all in on their calls here. That lack of confidence is something that we missed from them whenever they were having a hard couple of weeks in this Phase 2. Now let's go ahead and move into it. Team Liquid with the first ban. It's going to be Abathur once again.
Yeah, Abathur banned out right away by Team Liquid. So no copy plays, no potential for immortal races with that, and also the side soak. Of course, that is always extremely annoying. Not only the soak, but the ability to just push these lanes while the fight rages on in the middle. So nobody is going to have to react to send a hero down to defend, opening up weaknesses in the mid lane. So for now, Expert, what are they going to ban here? They head into the potential ETC ban and they lock it in. So no mosh pits, no stage dives, mirroring a potential Dehaka, which could still be a pick, but Liquid takes the opportunity and right away commits to Tacita.
So now Team Expert needs to think about that Vala. Do we give it up? It looks like they don't mind. They move straight into a Greymane.
Lunara as well. Greymane and Uther being taken here, so that's already fantastic to get some damage in. Greymane, of course, against the Immortal excels. Vala a big option for Team Liquid. Lunara a great option for them as well. So Tacita allows them a lot of very annoying double support compositions. And Tacita himself, if he specs into Storm, can be such a nuisance, especially later on, once that he gets the stacks completed on the level 1 talent and gets the double Storm. The damage output and the way that he can carpet the entire area is incredibly annoying to deal with, especially in a long and drawn out fight.
It's difficult to push into. If you even Peter Pan around a little bit, you just take so much damage, you start getting softening up, your support gets stressed out. If you're running a solo support, it gets worse and worse. Team Liquid will have that available to them as the level 16 comes their way. When it comes to Lunara versus Vala, a little bit helpful with that Hungry Arrow build, helping chuck down the Immortal. Lunara a little bit later to the game when it comes to spiking, but synergizes with that Tacita, who will be moving into the Double Storm. It's going to be Tracer and Rhaegar from Team Liquid.
Even better, count me in. Another Tracer game. Love to see a great Tracer here. That of course takes a bit of the pressure that you try to push onto the Immortal away. So Tracer from the get-go says, I want a team fight. I don't only want to focus down the Immortal, I don't want to find myself in an Immortal race. They have still some potential for that because of Tacita, Tracer plus Rhaegar with a Lightning Bond as a shield talent. But of course, if it's all about trying to race down the Immortal, Vala would be the better option with a full arrow build, or you can even opt into Lunara. Expert thinking about a ban on Malthael. They know that Liquid loves to play Malthael. They have played him already on the last map. Malthael is another hero that can excel on the Immortal damage, even though it's damage over time. So another one for them to consider banning out here. Or you could just try and target the front line, but having the solo laner here as your main target makes sense.
And naturally it works with Tracer too. When you get that level 4 talent that allows for you to poke from afar, it allows you to be able to be near that team fight to dive forward with that Tracer, who is going to be threatening in a fight. One of the strengths about Tracer, you mentioned that she wants to force team fights, but you can't be at a major number disadvantage when you're trying to go in and protect yourself from actually having to deal with that Tracer. So you wind up putting more resources on defense more than you want, which allows for the map to be opened up for Team Liquid. So Team Expert will definitely have to keep that under control, and they decide to ban out the Malthael to make sure they don't lose too much on that Immortal race.
Yeah, and especially with that recent trend to go into throwing shade and on this map, it's just a good ban. So Brightwing being banned out for the sole reason that, of course, at this point Liquid is already considering that Expert might head into a double support. And against Tracer, it's the polymorph that you are really scared of. You want to make sure that your opponent has as little tools possible at their disposal that allow them to control Tracer. So as long as Tracer has the room on the map to just speed around and do the damage and poke the entire time, that's exactly where you want it to be.
Pixie Dust also good against the Pulse Bomb that will be coming your way with the spell shield that you get on it now.
Another big argument, yes.
Yeah, so the Brightwing just makes sense for a ban right here. Team Expert now thinking about the 3rd and 4th pick. We'll need to move into that tank play at some point. Will we get the Varian?
It's always a good question. Personally, I really like Varian as an instant pick for the teams. It's more so the question, do they really feel that Varian, that they can get the kill comp? With Greymane already taken and the follow-up stun to Uther, I think Varian is a very solid option, but it's not the only thing that they can do here. And instead, it's Sonya and Tyrell being taken. It really very much depends on the team. And if they, like some teams, for example, say, yes, Varian is great against Tracer, but he doesn't offer enough for, let's say, for example, to control the objective itself. and we don't want our composition to only be the anti-tracer composition. We need our front line to do a bit more than that, and that's more or less what you achieve with Tyrael, and Sonya also can chunk down Tracer very heavily if she hits the spear.
Yep, the poison spear into a slam, chuck him down to half health right away. Also, Sonya can even go off by herself and work on the immortal, so a twofer here for Team Expert. Team Liquid, well, now they need to round out their composition. Wouldn't mind seeing a little bit more damage, and of course they're going to need a tank. Going to move into Arthas. Are we going to see double tank with Tracer here, or are we going to have a solo tank Arthas?
I mean, they can definitely do it if you have Arthas already.
Double
And
tank.
Garrosh, okay. So Garrosh is actually something that surprised me slightly. Arthas, I think, is great against Greymane in particular. With Garrosh, it's actually pretty cool because you now have also something where your opponent is very heavily pressured to not be out of position. So you find yourself in... I actually like this. The more I look at it, the more I like it. Because Garrosh is always a threat, and normally you focus a lot of your attention on Garrosh. But now you have 3 targets that you have to constantly keep an eye upon. If Arthas, for example, knocks you down with a Howling Blast, Garrosh has an easy follow-up, and Tracer, of course, is always zipping around. So I really like this, creating a lot of focus points for your opponent to keep track on. So Liquid definitely has an extremely cool setup here for the second map.
And Garrosh naturally by himself, which is good on this battleground if you're able to throw your opponent into the immortal stuns that could be coming your way, help out the CC. You feel like at some point when you're playing against Garrosh that you're just a pinball, being dropped around the map consistently, bouncing off of walls left and right. Team Liquid looking for a lot of control here, but also kill potential with that Tracer. Lucio will be the final pickup for Team Expert as they move into that double support. Great with multiple melee units as we have here with the Tyrael and the Sonya.
Yeah, so Lucio now taken, and is becoming more and more of a thing. Zealots actually started it. They had Arthas in that composition where they were relying on Lucio as well. Now we are seeing Lucio taken at least together with Uther. So it's the utility that you get plus the heal, especially of course in the later stages of the game with level 16 talents. But still, we have now a very different lineup for Team Liquid, and it's going to make it way more difficult for Team Expert to play this composition. So I think Liquid has a lot more tools right now. In the last game, it was more so Medivh that they had to watch out for. Now you play against this Arthas, against Garrosh, and against the Tracer that is being supported by Tyr. So I actually like the setup of Liquid a lot.
Yeah, it looks really good. They're going to be able to control the middle of the map well. I do think it's going to be a bit difficult for Team Expert to get the kills they want, especially on Arthas and that Garrosh. So it feels like they need to find a way to get to the Tracer. And if Tracer's playing pretty on point there, dodging those spears, it should be fine for them, especially as they move into the late game. So I think I agree with you. I actually looked at Team Liquid to win this, probably like 65-35.
Yeah. I'm really... this one I'm pretty hyped for. So I want to see if Expert is maybe able to just get the 2-0 victory regardless. It's their map choice after all. I mean, we're going to find now out on Battlefield of Eternity if Liquid is able to tie the series or if Expert is going to take that big 2-0 lead.
Let's do it. Let's go into game number 2 here. Battlefield of Eternity in this best of 5 series, map number 2.
Game number 2, it's Battlefield of Eternity with Team Expert to the left side. Curson on Lucio, Bad Benny on Tyrael. We see Ethereal Angel on Sonya with ADRD once again playing Uther. And Nick on the damage as usual, playing Greymane this time.
On the right side in the red, Haas and Wolves will be your Tassadar player. Darkmonk is Tracer. Lumby playing Garrosh. Nurok on Arthas. And Splendor playing Rhaegar.
So at this point, Darmok on Tracer is going to be the one to watch out for sure. Nurok on Arthas this time. And yeah, it's a pretty heavy front line that they have here. It's going to be a fun game to observe for sure. Also, level 1 here immediately for Blumby, heading straight into the unrivaled strength. So a bigger throw range and damage increase for Garrosh. And it's always kind of fun to observe Garrosh. Pretty annoying playing against him, but watching him throwing people around is a lot of fun. So from an observer point of view, I approve.
Great hero.
Yeah.
For watching. Playing against, oh man. It is stressful. Not only for yourself if you get thrown, but watching your teammates get thrown. It's like, I got nothing to help you, man. Like, I'm just sitting here with my hero, hoping that I don't get caught. Sorry, dude. I'll see you in 30 seconds. From here, Team Liquid will be looking to throw some targets around with that level 1. Bit different from what we've been seeing in Europe lately. The body check build has been pretty popular, but I think I like on this battleground. Again, being able to throw targets around the immortal phases can be enough to disrupt them and really get them into a spot where they may get stunned out or even take extra damage.
Yeah, the body check setup is something that especially Bad Benny has been running for Team Expert, so definitely a different style here. We are seeing still another attempt to try and get that quick throw in, and so far no luck for Blumby. But overall, of course, this is a composition that heavily is going to revolve around Tracer, and that's where the level 4 comes into play. We've been talking a bit also about the level 1 talent for Tacita. Hazop's going into the Psy Infusion. It's first of all great, of course, for mana, but also later on you just increase the damage, you increase the radius of it. And once that you pick up your double storm, that's really when it becomes interesting, since you can carpet the entire area and make sure that slowly and steadily your opponent is going to lose out on a lot of hit points.
Speaking of heroes losing out on health points, Sonya gets picked off from the top there as we have a gank from Arthas, and Tracer moving in will be a big pickup. Team Liquid comes down to start putting damage on the Immortal, while Team Expert is forced to defend while they wait for Sonya.
Yeah, so already we're having, with that kill, a slight experience lead for Liquid. They're going in for the Immortal, as you said, and Bad Benny is a bit low. Blumby looking for the potential toss, doesn't get it yet, but they start to put the pressure on. Sonya now on their way back and is going to start working on Team Liquid's Immortal, while the rest of Team Expert is simply trying to defend.
Defending, Sonya chunking it down. Team Liquid finally getting wind of it, checking out on the health bars in the top right. We'll be able to move on in. Even Garrosh helping out in the small amount of DPS that he does have. The Immortal phase, for the first half, will go over to Team Liquid as they bring in all 5 members, but Team Expert, they did a pretty solid job there with Sonya getting it down low. Yeah,
there we have also a quick throw, trying to go for Kirsten. They don't get the kill. Dartmok low, and it's Garrosh that falls. Not only him, Splendor is also in trouble. Gets a shield, but with Kirsten speeding everyone up, that are 2 kills against Team Liquid right now. Team Expert opening it up with a bang and getting the leading experience right back.
That's when it gets scary there. When you do get 1 kill, Team Expert will run you over with that Sonya and that Greymane, having Lucio just boost you forward. You saw them being on full health there, and they didn't mind taking out any target they could get their hands on. Team Liquid will now try to do their best to work on the Immortal, but with the loss of 2 members, Team Expert should be able to take some Immortal phase. It's getting close, but there we go, just fine.
Yeah, 2,500 hit points on the shield, so it's nothing too scary just yet for the first Immortal, but it's definitely not quite what Team Liquid was hoping for after they originally were the ones winning the halftime show. It was really those 2 kills against them that stopped everything. So Dartmok at the bot lane is now trying to make sure that they at least clear the wave. The Immortal is going to come in, and they have a bit of time to clear the shield out before we are seeing anybody join up. But Team Expert makes the move to the top lane instead, trying to push this one. So they are going to get a wall, but they shouldn't really get more than that.
They're all cold in here. Need to be a bit careful. Could have Team Expert move in, especially with ADRD here being with the stun. With Blumby and Hosswell coming to the top, but it looks like you're right in terms of being able to hold fine. Eldruin will allow Batman to get out, but he had to make sure he went in for a juke there on Blumby. Here's Darkmok looking for Nick, but shouldn't be able to get anything. I don't know. They're dancing a lot, but he shouldn't be able to get much.
Yeah, Darkmok will now always get the shield from Tacita. This is the most important thing for Hazop's to take care of, that he always has a shield ready for Tracer. And that's currently what he's doing in every single one of these engagements. But yeah, it's really just about the control at the front as well. And Dartmok is the main damage dealer, so he has to try and get the damage in. But you can already see the thought process. The last time what happened is Blumby is waiting for the toss, and once that he gets it, we immediately have that being the target for the team, with Tracer starting to deliver her ult on it. But now both of the teams are starting to head slowly into level 7. There's a quick stun against Tracer, but not of any consequence, and the camp still goes over to Team Expert.
Working on that pulse bomb is Team Liquid. The camp goes over, but Darkmok getting a little bit of harassment in there to make sure to have it up. We do have Team Liquid answering with 2 on the bottom side, and Sonya's holding fine for now, but she will start to lose out on those turrets pretty aggressively if there is no response back from her teammates. You see the ammo already being delayed, and finally Team Expert will make that rotation down to help her out.
I mean, one of the biggest problems is really that Blumby hasn't gotten a lot of tosses yet, so that was a very annoying situation for them. The one that finally he got led to a double kill against them, so not quite ideal. Guardian of the Ancient Kings now also taken up by Uther as a level 7 talent. And at the same time, we are having now Into the Fray chosen.
Yes, being able to throw a teammate. Throwing an Arthas into the middle of a team is quite the juicy choice if you're able to get it in there. So looking good for them, but also the cleanse is helpful too.
Isn't that disrespectful? You have
throwing
Arthas, like, yeah, it's like, I don't know. You just don't throw Arthas around.
I think lore-wise and
it just feels really
wrong.
Yeah,
you're right. It does. It does feel wrong. It does. But we're going to watch it anyways, and we're going to enjoy it. So yeah, I was talking about the end of the fray. It also cleanses your target if you do get them into a stun. So say Uther comes forward and you throw them, it will automatically allow for them to come out of that stun and not have to deal with it. And also, of course, it's going to be great for saving your teammates that could be in trouble.
Yeah, and they are starting to poke away here. And so far, it's actually Team Liquid taking the lead. And this is going to be a bit rough, I think, for Expert to defend, unless we're going to see that early double kill again. But the poke potential is definitely better for Team Liquid with the position they have. Storms are already in. Here comes that throw. They're trying to go for Nick, and immediately we're having everybody ready for Team Expert to give the protection and make sure that he doesn't die. So very well played around it. But Liquid is still slowly poking against the Immortal hit points. And they're doing well. Hazop still has a lot of mana, so can easily move in, drop another quick storm every now and then. And it works out.
Well, Holy Shock keeps coming in here from Uther to help out with those heals. Trying to make sure the cooldown is reduced and also getting the mana refunded a little bit there. He's actually doing a really good job of keeping with that harassment, but always having it available for when that pulse bomb comes out. I've been watching him constantly on this Uther in this different build here. It's been great. Darkmog constantly not able to get the pulse bombs off he wants because Uther brings out that first heal.
Yeah, but overall, I'm still liking what Darkmog is able to bring to the table here. It's just poking away the entire time. Now Nurok is the one up at the front, and the Howling Blast is connecting with 3, opening up a great side storm from Hazorps, dishing out a lot of damage. And they are really starting to win this battle for the Immortal. But Blumby, if he dies, he could turn everything around. But once again, the shield is there. And again, triple Howling Blast into Storm. So currently it's actually Tassadar who's getting a ton of damage out.
If he dies is a term that we're always going to hear when you're watching that Garrosh, as he always gets low. It seems like that guy just knows how to live barely, especially with the shield coming in from Haswab.
Hate that guy.
Good reaction by him. I think many do, but you have to respect him, you know? He's got a big axe.
Yeah, he definitely does. So the defense has started here again. It's actually really close, that fight for the second Immortal. Once again, the Howling Blasts are home. Blumby comes in, gets the heals, and Darkmog is trying to get the damage in. Nick is low. They're trying to grab him. He barely gets away. Ethereal helps to shield him a bit, and Hazorps continues with the pressure against the Immortal. Darkmog just everywhere, dancing in, dancing out, trying to deliver the damage. Gets shield after shield to keep himself alive, of course, with the extra life leech added. And Team Liquid is still ahead when it comes to the points on the Immortal. But one kill can change everything.
Especially now with Tassadar constantly dropping down the storms in the top left. He's putting Team Expert on a timer. They're trying to catch that Tracer. We've been seeing a Spear attempt to go on him constantly. If they find a Nurok though on the right side, he was backing up to go tap on the well to get mana and health. And instead, he'll find a death screen.
Yeah, but that's actually the opening that Team Liquid needed. They're going in, and they will get this one. If everyone else can escape, this is definitely a sacrifice totally worth it, especially on the low death timer they are in right now. Nice cleanse being used in Blumby as he's in trouble, and he might survive. Gets the throw in against Nick, and that's fantastic play here by Blumby. That's going to be a kill, so they get the counter kill. Garrosh still survives as he so often does, and in the meantime we have the Immortal on its way down to the bot lane with a level 10 ability dropping into the hands of Team Liquid.
Last couple of seconds, man, going in favor of Team Liquid, getting a kill, getting an Immortal, and having all 5 members up. They're going to run towards the bottom of the lane here and start pushing it in and try and get a fort. In fact, they should be able to get this fort if they're able to get up here right in time. There
Rhaegar at the top, he's about to die. Rhaegar is falling in a second here. Yep, Curson moves in and tries to grab him. Ethereal and Lucio dove deep for this one. But at the bot lane, there is Team Liquid wreaking havoc at this point, and that Immortal still will go through half the wall.
With members missing on the map, Team Liquid will pull away. Could have maybe pushed a little bit for that keep wall, but Sony went back to the fort and hid behind the gate before going into the minion waves, so Team Liquid assumed she was coming in for a rotation, and when losing your Rhaegar, you have to play it safe there. Athura will deal with the top as Team Liquid moves in to grab the experience on those turrets. So right now we have Team Liquid about a half a level ahead. Team Expert is just chasing them around though. They want to fight.
Yeah, they definitely want to. Hazorps, on the other hand, is getting closer and closer of completing his quest on level 1. He's sitting at 770 stacks, so another 230, and he's going to have the extra damage on it. Archon has been chosen, and with the level 10s now in, this is a big game changer for these fights. But of course, for Team Expert, it's all about the Sanctifications at this point. There's so much protection for them with Sanctification, Divine Shield, and the Sound Barrier to be used.
Speaking of Sanctification, we might see it soon. A Thorough being focused down by Nurok. Bad Biddy will get hit with a Pulse Bomb. He's going to go and eat it, turn the Sanctification down. A little bit late, but allows for his team to turn around and go straight for Garrosh. Blumby, though, with the Ancestral Healing will be kept alive.
Wow, Kirsten with the Divine Shield barely surviving, but Greymane is down and Bad Benny is dying as well. Kirsten barely getting out of the fight. A triple kill against Team Expert is giving Liquid a huge amount of momentum on the top lane, where they push now in with the camp and could potentially take down the fort itself. They're closing on level 13 as well. And again, the Garrosh flank coming in, putting ADRD into an awkward spot. He's gonna fall. Kirsten has to drop the sound barrier to keep himself alive as Dartmock went in with a pulse bomb. And now we have Liquid in a 1.5 level lead and the Immortal on the map in another 20 seconds. Liquid definitely turning up the heat here.
That they are. Team fight. Not going as well as they expected, with that pulse bomb actually hitting Tyrael and then Sanctification coming afterward. They assumed he wanted to get it off and make sure to negate that damage and go for the fight. But again, the major call out needs to be Splendor, hitting that Ancestor healing on Garrosh, who was getting lower and lower and seemed as if he would die.
Yeah, and now the top lane is barely defended. The fort is still there, but of course Liquid has everything they need. The 13 talent, the camp moving through the top lane, and also the time advantage heading for the Immortal first, and they are poking away at it as we speak. Blumby is keeping everyone on side of Expert on their toes. There's immediately the out-in blast from Norok as well. Expert is starting to dive in. They want the fight. Their heroic abilities are ready though. Nurik holding the army back for a long time, not popping his ult yet.
Darkmon is dancing around the entire time too on the side, working on those pulse bombs that are available, ready to drop it whenever he needs to. But they have to defend that top push, and Sony will do so. So Team Expert's going to go ahead and go to the halftime show at a disadvantage. They don't mind here, knowing that they have to get level 13 and stop their top fort from dying easily to the camp grab by Team Liquid.
Azovs is just about to complete his Storm talent on level 1. He's 2 hits away, 2 ticks, and once he gets those, the damage increase is going to help. And it's just in time for the Immortal fight itself. And they already won the halftime show. They are ahead. So now with Hazard completing his quest talent, they can really just start to poke away even harder from a distance. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're still posturing around, making sure that it's hard for Expert to move into them. Blumby at the front, Dartmock with a poke, and Hazard, thanks to his level 7 talent, the range increase, he's just sitting super far back and dropping one storm after another.
Constantly drop them in there. Will continue to soften up his opponents. 16 a power spike for both him, but also Lucio for the healing. 13 needs to be grabbed though by Team Expert. They are still just a hair off from landing that talent there. And we'll see if they'll get aggressive from that point on, as they are heavily behind in the Immortal race. A good half a health bar.
A big wave also building up at the bot lane that is going to pressure the wall a bit more. But Expert is still, as you said, holding on, and now they hit 13. So this is the moment where they could try and see if maybe a play is possible for them heading in. Uther still with that Holy Light build the entire time, going straight for it. Here comes the potential engage. Blumby already at the frontier. Dartmock a bit low. The shield went to Garrosh, so Tracer has to wait a little bit longer. But here comes the quick toss. Nick moves out though. And Dartmock has a shield again, is trying to go in. Here comes the army, but they're immediately being used as well when it's already used in the backline. Divine Shield is on Greymane. Here comes the sound barrier from Lucio as they're moving in, trying to go for the kill. Nurik is already low on mana and gets the Ancestral just barely. Blumby low, Hazobs on the side, and Lucio speeding everybody up on the side of Team Expert for the kill against Arthurs.
And they still have a Sanctification. They can turn around and fight if they need to. The kill against Arthurs is great. Now they can go down and burn down the Immortal. At the same time, though, they will have to be aware of Team Liquid being in the top, who could also go for the race that they've already got a nice lead on. With Bad Benny here and both the supports, they should have enough control. They gotta look at Darkmock. There they are, constantly slowing him down.
The race is still on and Dartmock is going in. So is Blumby. Splendor with a lightning shield. Once again, Dartmock trying to get it, but this time it's Team Expert that grabs the Immortal. Liquid holds on to that 1 level lead that they have, but Team Expert now has an opportunity to go through their top lane, drop the fort, and equalize the experience. They have the same talent already, and their cooldown, as you pointed out, is still available. They still have Sanctification for a potential fight.
And they'll have Divine Shield and Sound Barrier in about 20 seconds. So the supports will be in a good spot to help them with the push on the top. They decide to actually allow the Immortal to go on and push on the top side, as Team Liquid will defend it, and they're going to counter push on the bottom. Remember, they got that fort low earlier from grabbing the Mercenary camps, and they'll grab it here as the Immortal is dealt with on the top.
Liquid still has the level lead, so they will have the earlier level 16 talent if they played right. Really important is also the nullification on level 13 for Tassadar. That really helps once that Greymane starts to engage in. But also, if you look at the map, we're actually seeing Team Expert ahead in structures. They are the ones who, with that rotation that we just saw, were able to take both of these forts out. Now, of course, Liquid can react. They still are all up at the top lane, so they can still go straight for it and drop that fort finally, which is going to deliver experience to them that will catapult them a little bit more towards level 16, where the added talent could give them the big edge in the next team fight that they need.
Yeah, they'll be able to get to that 16 easily. What do they need? 2 waves, maybe tops here to get that 16, whereas Team Expert will need a full bar's worth of experience to even get there. So you're going to see them dance around and try to avoid Team Liquid, while Team Liquid takes full control of the battleground, clearing out the mercs on the bottom side. They'll have their camps on the right to grab eventually, and also to the very north is still those camps. Team Expert will try to grab those for now before they have a chance to have Team Liquid come back and react, which Team Liquid is doing now, so we need to be a bit careful here.
Now, softening up the opponent's team is going to be a lot easier for Team Liquid now that they have the 16 talent for Tassadar. This is going to be a huge one for him. With that, he has now the Double Storm available, the Psionic Echo. We also have Earthshaker. So this is another big tool where we have that mini stun available. And the Remorseless Winter for Arthas alone is going to be such a huge tool whenever Expert is trying to chase into these choke points. If those extra roots hit home, then Nurok has a very good shot of just setting everyone up for Tassadar's AoE and of course for the main damage that comes through Tracer.
On the other side, when Lucio hits 16, he'll be able to have his additional heal that's important.
Yeah.
Big power spike for him. So we'll have a struggle of who can soften each other up and who can heal the most here, as Lucio will be doing his best to sit and passively heal up.
That's why I really like that Liquid is using that small window that they have, the opportunity to push in and steal the camp away, which they just did. Forcing that fight was actually fantastic. They have a camp at the top lane, and now they also have the easy jump on the Immortal just a bit faster, while Expert is trying to get the level 16 talent. And they have it now, but they already lose out on the halftime show. So they were trying to mitigate some of the damage by pushing Team Liquid's Immortal down, but that was the best case scenario given Liquid's situation.
Do not forget, though, about Holy Ground also coming online for Tyrio. Could section off Team Liquid. They'll have to make sure that when they come in for an engage, they're coming at multiple angles and make sure they don't get caught out.
The camp at the top lane is going to get serious value because the Immortal is at the bottom of the map now, and it's Sonya who's trying to sneak over, but that's something that Liquid actually expected, so they're trying to cut this off. The fight is starting up, but this camp is still getting value. Sonya is being thrown back. They're still trying to cut them off, and Expert is now in a weird spot where they want to defend their own keep at the top, but also the Immortal, and that's going to be a tall order.
A small maneuver from Team Liquid allows them to get a 5v4. They engage into the taunt. Tyrael is getting low on health. Soundbarrier will keep him alive. Sonya is on the way. Still hasn't cleared that camp out completely, but has done enough damage to slow it down for now. Team Expert can only be in a spot where they just defend.
Yeah, but Expert is now also, they dropped a lot of big cooldowns. They didn't drop Sanctification, but Divine Shield and Sound Barrier are both being used, or have been used, and still, Tyrael has a Sank, but also has Orbs is just continuing that softening up process that we've talked about earlier, and he can easily do that now. Here's still another quick jump, but they're going for the next target. Sanctification already coming out as we are seeing Rhaegar with a bit of trouble, but the Ancestral still goes through. Rhaegar is safe. Here comes the stun. Nurok is alone, thrown in. They keep him alive for now. The damage output is there, but Arthas falls first. Here comes the Warlord's challenge, though, as Garrosh tries to get a counter kill. Uther is dead, but Blumby might still fall here.
Constant heals coming in from ADRD are enough to keep Team Expert alive. With both the tanks down, Team Liquid are dashing to the bottom side to get a little bit more damage on the Immortal phase, while Sonya and the top side is going to work on the Immortal. Can they win this race? They have to keep Tassadar and Tracer away from poking.
It doesn't really look like they can. Liquid is actually tempted to engage into this. The problem is that Lucio is able to heal everyone up over time, so that softening up to Hazor's Psystorm is just not going to do enough. They are once again in here, but the race is now committed to, and Team Expert is likely to win this Immortal again, and they do 4,000 points on the shield. Expert is just doing the work whenever they have to. Liquid is gaining small advantages that they use, but overall, Expert is always just showing up in those important fights. 7 kills against 7, level 17 on both sides now, and the Immortal is gonna head for the keep this time.
Should be healthy enough to move in for that keep. The only saving grace right now is that Team Expert is trying to get their Uther to head across the map. Uther had to clear out the bottom lane. So that gives time for Team Liquid to work on the shields, and they will get it lower and lower, but Team Expert grouping up as 5 and pushing with the Immortal. They want to get this turret wall and get some damage on the keep.
Yeah, the keep should be able to save it. It could be a close call here for sure. But Benny already with a Holy Ground to the side, trying to anchor the rest of the team, but you can see that Expert is a bit hesitant. heading into this. They know that they won't be able to do too much. The shields are saving a lot of the damage that could be pushed onto the keep, and Liquid saves it for now. So, overall, very even experience, 18 versus 18. But yeah, close game for sure. And at this point, Expert has taken a slight lead.
Yeah, which is saying a lot when they were a full level behind going into level 16.
Definitely.
The kills really paying off for them. In fact, the kills are actually similar in even skills too. It's 7-7 in kills, but the late game ones or the last couple of ones have always been at pivotal moments that allow for them to take the Immortal, which has gotten them turret experience. This has actually been quite a fun game between these two.
I mean, the amount of heals and the amount of sustain that we have on the side of Team Expert is just flat out disgusting. We have Sanctification, Divine Shield, Sound Barrier, Uther heals, and Lucio heals. That is just crazy. So it's definitely tricky for Team Liquid to kill anybody here. You've been highlighting a few times how Tracer is waiting for these opportunities to get the pulse bomb in and never really gets the damage through, because every time one of the supports or Tyrael just shows up to negate it. So that was a big problem. In terms of damage output, by the way, as we said earlier, it's actually Hazops who gets most of it in right now. 74,000 hero damage on his part, followed then by Tracer with 67,000, and then on third place we have Greymane for Team Expert with 60k.
But look at Lucio with 84,000 healing, and that number will continue to climb with that choke, or that constant storm coming in and trying to choke out their opponents. Team Expert's in a great spot with that Lucio. Kirsten constantly going to be healing them and keeping that full health.
Yeah, exactly. So that AoE heal, that's really the big deal here, especially if you then have Uther to mitigate one of Lucio's biggest weaknesses, the burst heal. So that's what you have Uther for, and you have then also the panic button on both sides. 20 is another big power spike for both of the teams here that, of course, they're trying to work towards. And Expert is going to hit this a bit faster. But for now, we're talking about 19 versus 19 still. So the Immortals are on the map. Here comes the Holy Ground. Nurok had to pop the army, and they're starting to move in. Bad Benny is being shielded here. They're trying to get the kill, but Darkmonk is actually being chased by a Thero. They try to turn it around, but the Divine Shield hits. One cooldown already baited by Team Liquid as they are moving towards the well, trying to top up before they go back into the Immortal fight. But Expert rushes in to drop some extra damage on the Immortal.
They started that fight because Tracer was on the bottom trying to clear up that Merc camp. They still have to deal with it as it has not been cleaned up. But you also saw how strong Sonya can be against Tracer. There was a full combo straight to Tracer that put her down to a quarter health. Luckily, thanks to Tacit, Archshields, and Rhaegar, they were able to keep her alive.
Liquid is in a really bad spot, because not only did they just give away the halftime show to Team Expert to clear the bot lane, but they are the ones who will hit level 20 much later than Expert. Expert is just a slip. There they have it. Expert has 20, and Liquid is half a level away. They will have to... I mean, right now you have to give this one up, right? But then you have a more or less a full shield Immortal that is going to be heading towards your keep. That could be game if you lose a hero in the defense. So Liquid is in a really awkward spot where they try to defend and try to somehow get 20, but it's going to be rough. And here comes Expert, and they're engaging.
Sound Barrier pops. Ancestor healing to hit Blumby, who was low on health. He stays alive. Nurok is the next target. As a Thorough dives forward, putting low on health. The Holy Ground coming in into Sanctification. They are focusing Nurok, and they'll get him.
Nurok is down, and now they are chasing. They're just absolutely going straight in for it. And Splendor is isolated by the Holy Ground and dies. It's a double kill. The 20 advantage is something that Expert exploits right away. They are taking it, and now instead of going for the Immortal, they don't even care. They just simply go straight for the keep. Two heroes are down on Team Liquid's side, and with the level 20 advantage and the numeric advantage, Team Expert is going in for it, trying to make it a triple. It's another 30 seconds until Team Liquid is going to be back in full strength. Bad Benny's being again attacked. Warlord's challenge been thrown out here, but the Sound Barrier has hit home. Blumby is down. And this should be it. Tyrael dies, explodes on the core, and the shields are gone as Team Liquid is about to lose game number 2.
That's right. And with a Tracer even getting hit